It's okay. Off your mic. It's okay. Off your mic.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk through to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Ingo torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego diary politico, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not the off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. My ego diary politico, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. This one not they off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don't come, oh yo yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my yegun, that man too they talk. He do they talk. Say my yegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my yegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. My yegun don't come, oh yo yo. My people make you shout, oh yo yo. My yegun don't come, oh yo yo. Man of the masses, oh, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego diary politico, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. This man not the off in mind, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah.
Today I want to declare without equivocation.
Hello there.
Mayegun la wa mo la mo dododo. Mayegun diary,
Good morning to you.
Mayegun la wa mo la mo dododo.
Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. On the Sunday sermon, what you have to do as you are joining is what? Share the broadcast. Drop your offerings, which is like the video. Take your time to read the caption as well. And afterward, start engaging with the content.
Ani Mayegun la wa mo dododo. Mayegun diary, Ani esunra ki Mayegun ti de.
Thank you very much. I have fixed the date. Don't let that distract you. Let's get started.
Lórí Facebook. And yes, we like Lórí YouTube. And yes, we like Bàbá Gbéwúrẹ́.
I go talk.
Yes, we like Ijó Ìgbádìyẹ. And yes, we like
Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are watching from. It is Mayegun on this beautiful Sunday afternoon, the 7th of May, 2023. If you are watching this as a replay, don't worry about this, okay? Before we get fully into the conversation. Today, Golongo, I think I should tell you, this is the Sunday sermon. What is coming after is the normal prime time Mayegun's Diary Politico at 8. So I have divided today's broadcast into two. The first part, which actually suits and fits the Sunday sermon, ingredient or content rather. So that is why we are going to have this conversation, something that is more like, soul searching. Where you have to sort of reminisce on things. Because you see, one of the problems of Nigeria and Nigerians is Stockholm syndrome. Now, the level of Stockholm syndrome in Nigeria is so bad that Nigerians always refer back to their former leaders as better than whatever they have at current, or, therefore, you will see politicians crawling towards the former failed leaders in Nigeria for endorsement, for backing. Because somehow, people always kind of refer back to them. Let me give you an example. When Shagari, the first democratically elected president in Nigeria, when Shagari was running a corrupt government in the late 70s and early 80s, right? The excuse that Buhari and gang gave for overthrowing him was because the government was so corrupt, stinkingly corrupt. In order to save Nigeria from Shagari, Buhari came. So they started beating people on the street. They started whipping people. Like if you sell it anytime, you could just disappear. So people got tired. This man is worse. Now we are queuing to buy sugar, queuing to buy homo, queuing to buy every basic things that normally you should go, So it was mad. The corrupt Shagari started kind of attracting the Nigerians that sang hallelujah when Buhari and his gang overthrew the first democratically elected government in Nigeria. It was like a hero. But that didn't last. 30 months into that, another Maradona came. Around that time, Nigeria has already entered recession. Nigeria economy was already like in doldrum. Unemployment was at the highest. Cost of living was like killing under Buhari, but he was bragging of being able to discipline Nigerians because Nigerians can no longer. Meanwhile, under him, criminals were looting as usual. So when people got to see that, they got weary of him. And another criminal came on, Babangida. He started doing things in opposite to what Buhari was doing, right? Somehow they forgot that he was a military. He was illegitimate. They embraced him until they grew tired of him too. And they started referring to Buhari. Buhari, even Buhari, you know what I mean? Nigerians. So after Babangida, the shortest one, Shonekon, came, not much on him, right? Because that was like purely illegitimate, like unheard of. So Abacha came, another illegitimate government. That one threw Nigeria, Balabulu, everywhere. They started cursing him in my own hometown, Odo-Ogbolu. Back in the days, as young as we were, we understood that we were praying for God to destroy Abacha so that he won't kill Dia. That's how much kind of, So people started referring back to the past one. Even Babangida wasn't this bad. Now Babangida caused this thing. If Babangida had, all that stuff. Abacha died. Boom. Abdul Salami came. Boom. And before you know it, they went to bring Obasanjo from prison. Somebody who was who was convicted for coup. And he was just waiting to be killed when Abacha died. Right? Now, when Abdul Salami promised transition, Nigerians suddenly felt like if not for him, if he decided that he doesn't want democracy, nothing anybody would do. That's the kind of country whenever they have these criminals in charge, they blend in, they adjust. They don't fight back for real. And if you think you want to fight back, those who fought back at the time, they ended up following that, that adage. Is it an adage or an illustration or an expression? If you can't beat them, you will join them. So as things were progressing and progressing, Nigeria continued to produce terrible, horrible leaders. Nigerians also continue to what? Adjust to them, and they continue to remember the past. Fast forward to Obasanjo. He became one of the horrible leaders that missed a very good opportunity to put Nigeria on the real track where everybody could do their day. But he was more concerned about power. Out of over 180 million people at the time, he saw himself as the only person who actually cares about Nigeria, and he was the only person who could lead Nigeria. Therefore, he had no plan for any successor. When that failed, Obasanjo went to go and bring Yar'Adua, a man that is 8 years as governor of Katsina State, was dogged with sickness. You see that time that all of you later knew that Yaradua is a sick president. He had always been a sick governor. But Katsina, like Zamfara, like Yobe, like Taraba, all these other smaller, northern states. To us in southern Nigeria, we don't even know who is their governor. Some people don't even know what is the state capital of some of the states in Nigeria. So nobody knew anything about Katsina. Nobody gave a damn about Katsina. At least around that time. So, to punish Nigerians, Obasanjo knew Yaradua was a sick president. In fact, he was a failure too as governor of Katsina State. You saw this increase in Almajiri, out of school children, and the rest of them. Put it on the shoulder of the governors from 1999 in northern Nigeria. Yaradua was one of them. A total failure. But there's something about him that seems to be like, it's like it's like finding a golden egg among millions of horrible egg. Finding one manageable egg, not golden, manageable egg among other horrible ones. He is not a thief from his record. Yeah? He wasn't greedy. He wasn't selfish. He wasn't what you call a kleptomaniac like others. He never took any more, like all this luxury, whatever. He wasn't for that. That's the only thing. But administratively, in Katsina State, Katsina is one of the poorest, and there was no record that Yaradua changed that before Obasanjo nominated him. Right? Obasanjo had ample number of those who are in his cabinet, who have been part of his government from the scratch. Let me give you an example this before I continue. When Obasanjo came in, Nigeria doesn't have any real foreign reserve. There was like almost nothing there. When I say nothing, I'm talking about a whole country like Nigeria having less than $500 million as their foreign reserve. But that could be explained. Nigeria was under serious sanctions when Abacha was alive. Therefore, instead of Nigeria to be saving money in foreign reserve from the sale of crude oil and what have you, right? They put embargo on Nigeria oil. So Nigerian government have to deal with individuals who would then serve as a black market, what have you, okay? So instead of Nigeria money to go into a place administered by the central bank, the Nigeria money was in the hands of different individuals who could help lift Nigeria crude oil to wherever, sell it, and give Nigeria the money. That was how Abacha was rolling. Abacha didn't even he didn't want to leave Nigeria. He didn't travel out of Nigeria. Together. Now, when Abacha died, some of this money that they are calling Abacha loot. Nobody say Abacha carry money inside Nigeria. Nobody say Abacha printed money like this civilian governments are doing. Abacha didn't print money to pack and put inside plane and take abroad. All this money you are hearing and seeing, they are connected to individuals. Some of them have become governors in Nigeria today. So some of this trade, Nigeria money, that they know where they kept it. And for a few ones they found are those money they are calling Abacha loot. You can go and cross-check that. Because individuals took all this money out. The current governor of Kebbi State, Atiku Bagudu, was actually the biggest one that was detected by Obasanjo among those who were money bags for Abacha at the time. Billions of US dollars stashed abroad. He was caught in Texas in the US, right? He pleaded guilty, made a deal, gave part of that money, and they let him go. Today, when Abubakar Bagudu, governor of Kebbi State, Abacha bagman, in a deal he signed with Nigeria to let Nigeria know where they kept all Abacha loot. He kept Abacha loot, or Abacha, or Nigeria money, right? He had to make a deal with Obasanjo, make a deal with America, that they will give a percentage of that money to him. Now, these criminals, right, are those who have now metamorphosed into civilians today. So let's continue Obasanjo's treasury. Obasanjo, having failed his third term, brought Yar'Adua. Inside Obasanjo's government, in 1999, Nigeria barely generates 1,000 or 1,500 megawatt of electricity. Under Obasanjo, Nigeria got debt forgiveness, right? Under Obasanjo, refineries who are almost dead in Nigeria started coming back to life. Under Obasanjo, he improved. Listen to this. He improved power generation. He increased employment, right? He increased, He improved the economy of Nigeria to the point that those who did that with him, because of power, he left them and he picked a sick man who was just waiting for the end of his second term. According to him, Yaradua, when he was alive, he was waiting to go back to his private life. Possibly, if he would live a little bit longer, he would rather be a teacher, a lecturer in one of the universities in Katsina. Obasanjo left everyone in his team that could be president to carry on his program, and he picked that one. When he picked Yaradua, the first thing Yaradua did was to go after Obasanjo and everything Obasanjo stood for, 100%. It all started from confessing that the election that brought him in was rigged. Oh, I think I love this man. He's very honest. There is no Nigerian president that is dishonest. That was the beginning of Yaradua romance by Nigerians. You know, when this is something, that is why when you look at what the kind of attention they are giving to Peter Obi and why the other side are so angry, they are so upset. Because according to them, Peter Obi is one of us now. How could you give him all this attention? But the difference is that you have something that you have seen in him that the rest of them put together don't have. Selfishness and greed. So if this man came out to confess and say, number one, they know that he wasn't a thief. You see, the area of competence or whatever didn't really matter then. Look at this guy. He just came out to say they rigged him in. He indicted Obasanjo. He indicted the INEC chairman under Obasanjo for rigging and conducting the worst election at the time, just to make Yaradua president. So that was the beginning of conspiracy theories, especially in this recent time in Nigeria, in the political circle of Nigeria. During the campaign, at a time, there was an emergency. Yaradua was hurriedly flown to Germany because he was suffering from a serious medical emergency during campaign. And Obasanjo shamelessly shamelessly in one of the campaigns where he was the sitting president. Oh, now he was campaigning for Yar'Adua. He put a call through to Yar'Adua on his hospital bed in Germany, right? The front runner of an election in Nigeria. A few weeks to election, he was rushed out of Nigeria. On his hospital bed, Obasanjo was calling, Umaru, yes, Mr. President. Are you dead? No, Mr. President, I am not dead. That became, internet wasn't this loud at the time. So listen, which means he was sick. So the conspiracy around why Obasanjo picked him started manifesting. Obasanjo found a lacuna in the 1999 constitution that he thought through constitutional amendment of 2005 that he could smuggle in third term. So when that failed, then he found a lacuna in your constitution that said if the front runner in an election dies before the election is conducted, right? The election will be postponed by 3 months. All right, and the president, the government in power, right? They will have the legitimacy of staying longer, as long as the election is conducted within 180 days. Do you know how long is 180 days? That's over 6 months. So, like I said, the conspiracy around why would Obasanjo go for somebody who had no clue about what Nigeria needed at the time, who had no clue about what Obasanjo was doing as a government. He had no idea. Why would he do that? Some said he wanted to see him, maybe he was going to die. So if he died, Obasanjo can stay longer than May 29. Conspiracy, you call it. Exactly, conspiracy. So the drama continued, right? There's also another part of it too. Before then, there was a governor. He's dead now. His name is Alamesia. Now, Deprie Alamesia or something, I don't know. Alamesia, he was governor of Bayelsa State. Okay? So, the news broke that he's been arrested in the UK for money laundering. And it was at the tip of Obasanjo. So they said they found huge amount of money in his possession. And also they found that he had properties all over Europe, UK here, expensive, like very, very, expensive properties. All of these were the tips from Obasanjo's government, right? So when that happened, initially, as a governor in Nigeria, you were expected to have, immunity. So somehow, the immunity ends in Nigeria. Now, Obasanjo made us realize that when that man got arrested. So somehow, Alamesia escaped from, you know what I mean? He escaped and he dressed like a woman to escape from the UK, which also said that it was also the UK government or so. Thank you. That, that kind of facilitated Alamesia's exit back to Nigeria. Now, when Alamesia returned to Nigeria through Gabon, he dressed like a woman. When he got back to Nigeria, he was given a rousy welcome. His deputy governor at the time was Goodluck Jonathan. Goodluck Jonathan, at the time, when the Wahala started, came to the limelight. Who was he? Who is this person? Who is this guy? Who is, you know what I mean? Eventually, Obasanjo ordered all of the House of Assembly members in Bayelsa State. He ordered them to Abuja. And he gave them one marching order. Impeach Alamesia. So when they returned back to Bayelsa, they impeached Alamesia as governor. Right? And around that time, EFCC were already waiting in Bayelsa to arrest him. Immediately, Goodluck Jonathan was promoted to the substantive position of governor. When Jonathan became governor, remember, all these were like almost election year. Sure, you get? Jonathan printed posters. He wanted to contest as governor properly in Bayelsa. Like he dragged Yaradua, who wasn't interested in Nigeria. He dragged Jonathan too, who had no clue about Nigeria. No clue at all. His ambition was to progressively, politically like that. But because of Obasanjo's vendetta, he matched them together. So cut the long story short, Yaradua and Jonathan became president. When Obasanjo was handing over to both of them, Obasanjo was building 11 power plants across Nigeria. Independent power plants across Nigeria, 11. And the budget then was $16 billion for all of them, right? And it was a project you would call PPP, public-private partnership. Government will provide some certain amount of money. Private companies who are investing in the power sector will provide some certain of money. And the last piece is the partnership of how much of that money they pull together, right? That was the idea, okay? 16 billion. Nobody say Nigeria will spend the 16 billion on power. A lot of you still say that till tomorrow. But anyway, it deserved it. Obasanjo, it deserves it. But the truth of the matter is that Nigeria didn't spend 16 billion on power. Nigeria budgeted to spend 16 billion on power. And from record, Nigeria spent $1.4 billion, which is their own counterpart funding for that project while Obasanjo was in power. So when Obasanjo handed over power to Yar'Adua, he handed over a foreign balance of 43 billion US dollars. That means Obasanjo in 8 years took Nigeria from foreign reserve, after clearing the Nigeria debt to zero, all the debts in Nigeria to zero, starting afresh, right? Obasanjo handed over 42 billion US dollars to Yar'Adua and Jonathan. He handed over another account he created. They called it sovereign wealth account, or you can call it excess crude account. You see, this excess crude account, I've told you this many times for those who kind of know it. It's like the excess of money they didn't spend from the sale of crude oil after they spent the one they have spent over the years. Obasanjo handed over 24 billion US dollars in the excess crude account to Yar'Adua. Are you listening? When Obasanjo was leaving, the total Nigeria debt at the time, foreign and local, like the entire country, when Obasanjo was leaving, was less than $2 billion. Also, while he was also leaving, the refineries in Nigeria, they were back working. And there was nothing called subsidy. Can you believe that? That there was actually nothing really called subsidy at the time, because Nigeria was managing to kind of meet up the production of refining of crude oil under Obasanjo, but to meet up the whole ration across the country, fuel marketers then have to go and bring some of this. At the time, it was relatively manageable. Nothing's too kind of draining. When Yar'Adua became president, he stopped the power plant projects because the news said Obasanjo spent $16 billion. Yar'Adua said Obasanjo is building 11 power plants. His mentor, somebody we won't use show shege to Nigerian and Nigerian politicians. So Obasanjo became the first person to receive all the shots. And I'll give you the instances here. He came out and he said, his government came out and they said Obasanjo was spending $16 billion on power. And if Yar'Adua said it, wouldn't you believe it? So why would Yar'Adua say that if it's not true? That will be your question. Okay, but the fact is, all the available documents shows that Nigeria did not spend 16 billion. So Yar'Adua stopped the project to investigate maybe Obasanjo spent 16 billion or not. Okay. He now set up a committee to investigate Obasanjo's government on that power. The committee that they put together to investigate if Obasanjo spent 16 billion or not, within a year, the committee have been accused of collecting bribe to the tune of $2 billion from those who have interest in that power sector. So allegation is now flying. Accusation against those who are investigating those they accuse of mismanaging 16 billion in 2 years. At investigator, at investigated, at investigatee, the whole thing died a natural death. What about the power plant? They became stagnant. They became kind of almost abandoned. The project, everything around it stopped. The progression of Nigeria generating enough electricity dwindled. Obasanjo, who thought he loved Nigeria, brought somebody that he felt would defend and promote his legacy. That was the first thing. Remember that. During Obasanjo time, something happened in Zaki Biam, somewhere in northern Nigeria. So the report was 2 soldiers or thereabout were killed by warring factions, communities fighting themselves. So the moment they said they killed someone, Obasanjo sent battalion of soldiers to level the communities of Zaki Biam. Women, children slaughtered by the Nigerian soldiers. In Niger Delta, where the Niger Delta militants became Lord, you know Obasanjo did. When there was a kind of Obasanjo sent soldiers around there to provide security and all that. So the militants had a clash with the soldiers. They killed 7 of them. They killed 7 soldiers. Obasanjo then sent battalion of soldiers there to level the entire kingdom, the entire place. So it was like the Nigerian government, as they are bombarding them from here, they are shooting them from ground. It was carnage. So when Obasanjo decided to deal with the militant leaders themselves, he now invited them to Abuja. He said he has a deal for them. All their demand will be met. Okay? And he's going to be sending a plane. So he sent a plane down to Port Harcourt, Asari Dokubo, and many of them like that. They jumped on the plane. They took them to Abuja. They want to go and meet the president. When they got to Abuja, they lodged them in Sheraton Hilton or so. Top hotel, presidential suite. So they were there for 2 weeks. They didn't see Obasanjo. Obasanjo was busy. He won't see them. Oh, he's going to see them by Friday. Stay there. Government is paying for everything you are drinking and eating anyways. Just relax. Then at the end of the 2nd week, they told them, sorry, Obasanjo won't be able to see you now. So we have to reschedule. So we're going to take you back. You know, they are militant with their guns and all of that thing. They are like, hey, Nigeria go here, or else we'll blow all the pipeline. Then, you know, they will kidnap all the expatriates, collect ransom. The one that the Fulani terrorists are doing right now, Boko Haram, kidnapping people, collecting ransom. The militants didn't kidnap ordinary people. They were kidnapping expatriates, all people where they work for oil field, you know. So they returned them back to Niger Delta with the hope that the negotiation continue with the government of Nigeria. Then, 3 months or so later, they called them again and said, the president have their time now. They should be coming, and they're going to send another plane. So they sent another plane to go and bring them. The moment they landed in Abuja, at that Abuja Zikiwe airport, the DSS and their cars, they're already waiting. As they are coming down of the private jet that took them to Abuja, all the militant leaders, as they are coming out of the plane, they arrested all of them, put them in their cars. And Asari will tell you, he told me the story himself. I told you that we used to be friends. Alhaji Asari. So he shared that story with me on one of my programs on this Facebook at the time. That was the last time. And they spent about 2 or 3 years in that jail. They never saw outside again. When they released them, Baba, everybody just mellowed. So Yaradua came. Suddenly, the militants have started again. Bah, bah, go, everywhere. So instead of going Obasanjo way, Yaradua invited all the militants, all their leaders to Abuja. And he asked, what do you want? They said they want amnesty. They want a share of their oil money. They want to be paid. All those who are not working, they must be paid from the money made from the oil. So Yar'Adua acceded to all their demands. And they said they should start bringing their names. They started putting them through education. That's a very good one, Abi. Opposite what Obasanjo would do normally, his mentor. Well, it didn't last long before the ill health took a better part of him. And it was so obvious that it only lasted for a year and a half. And the remaining 1 year and a half, he was in and out of the hospital, right? At the time, the Jonathan that nobody knew, Alakete, they call him the man with the heart. See this Alakete, who is just there like, you know what I mean? Around that time, they began to feel like this guy could be the next president too. People started saying, what is wrong with Yar'Adua? His own minister, Dora Akunyele, also came out to say, listen guys, Yar'Adua is gone. And we know they have been working so much in the last few months to hide that from Nigerians. But the truth of the matter is that we are his minister. We haven't spoken to him for the past 8 months. Imagine you are a minister to a president and you have not really spoken to him or you have not seen him face to face. It was so big. That was when Turai, his wife, Turai Yaradua, that was when she also came to the news. They said she's the head of the Cabal. She's the one making sure that the state of her husband's health is not revealed. And that her husband was already brain dead 6 months before they announced his death. Yar'Adua was like brain dead for like 6 months. So the country, they were still running the country. They had their Kaduna mafia. They had their northern, oligarch, the rest of them. They were managing to run things. But Nigeria was dwindling. Nigeria was like a nose diving. Things were going bad. Like bad. Scandal every day. You get what I mean? Where is Yar'Adua? Where is Yar'Adua? Baba, that was when Turai came into the picture, like I said. So Turai is the head of the Cabal. So Turai Yar'Adua is the one holding Nigeria down. Turai Yar'Adua is the one who, because of power, of money, she won't let her husband get the proper. So that was it became scandalous. A real scandal. Anyway, it didn't take long as well. So they brought Yar'Adua back from around that time. Yar'Adua there abroad, where they are treating him. But when they are now saying that he's dead, it's not dead. He's dead, it's not dead. They brought him back. When they brought him back, they dressed him up. He doesn't talk. He doesn't respond. It was like that. So they put him up. They put him up for a pop-up show up, like a doll, in a show doll. They started taking pictures with him. They would stand with. It was just like somebody who is like brain dead. 4 days later, they announced that he's dead. Finally, that was when they said the Cabal has given up. Around this time, there's nothing you can do. If the man is now dead, what do you want to do? How long do you think you're going to hide it? Remember Obasanjo, the man that made him president. They started fighting. It didn't take long. They started fighting. Obasanjo started writing letters as usual. When Yar'Adua fell sick, Obasanjo came out and he was like, he didn't see, nobody knows who is going to live long or who is going to die tomorrow. And he came out with some stupid defense. But this is where I'm going. Remember what is called Stockholm syndrome. Around this time, the likes of Obasanjo, the likes of Abdulsalami Abubakar, the likes of Babangida, who else again is there? This genocidist, Yakubu Gowon. They started parading themselves as elder statesmen. That they created a position for themselves as former presidents. Okay? So they are the highest body. They call them neck. China neck that they call them. They call them something like neck. So people like Obasanjo and co, they are to advise the president of Nigeria at the highest level. And since Obasanjo is the kingmaker who made Jonathan and Yar'Adua. Now that Yar'Adua is out of the space, let me be the Jonathan's godfather to protect him from those who might want to hurt him. So he went to Jonathan and he was like, you are going to run. Remember, the power was supposed to be in northern Nigeria. So, by the death of Yar'Adua, the power returned to the south. So Obasanjo felt like he would, that didn't take long either. But the story is not about Jonathan and, and Tinubu now. It's going to be somebody who was a failure. Meanwhile, by the time Yar'Adua was declared dead, Nigeria debt around that time has grown to over 8 billion US dollars. Nigeria started growing debt again. The foreign reserve of Nigeria has dwindled down to $33 billion. The excess crude account of 24 billion that Obasanjo handed over to him, by the time, in 3 years, by the time Yar'Adua died, the money has reduced to 18 billion. So $6 billion gone. Nearly 11 billion US dollars from the foreign reserve gone. Nigeria incurred over $6 billion debt in 3 years as well. And the refineries working in Nigeria, they started going back to the default mode. In 3 years of Yar'Adua. But today, every year, now if Yar'Adua is the best president in Nigeria, if he lived longer, he would say, what did Yar'Adua do? Oh, he gave amnesty. And but Nigeria was peaceful that time. You are just so dumb. Or your own kind of Stockholm syndrome, which I said is chronic, is the majority anyway. Like, it's chronic. What did he do? But, I know what I'm saying. I mean, look at the people after. Listen, these are facts. These are figures. These are numbers. Do you get that? You don't manufacture, it did well. Because some of you are already praising Abacha. During Abacha time, this is no bad reach you because your Stockholm syndrome is so used to being in the position of suffering. I want to take you out of there. Stop justifying nonsense. That is why Kalu woke up yesterday. He too want to talk about Yar'Adua. He wanted to talk about Yar'Adua, how Yar'Adua was this and that. He said, I will follow the footsteps of Umaru Yar'Adua. That didn't go down well with a lot of Nigerians. Not because they don't like Yar'Adua. They were like, Yar'Adua is a far better than you. You this skinny con, you this skinny con. They are not different. They are all the same. In this context, let's use numbers. Yar'Adua was in and out of hospitals. He wasn't ambitious when it comes to Nigeria. No, he wasn't ambitious. Tinubu has been in and out of hospitals. He is ambitious. He wants to be president of Nigeria. So today, he is the president select of INEC with legitimacy wahala. Tinubu said he was going to be working on the footsteps of Buhari. What does Buhari represent? In 2015, just after 6 years, that Goodluck Jonathan was in charge of Nigeria. Again, let's use numbers now. Nigerian foreign reserve, which was at 33 billion at the time when Yar'Adua died. When Jonathan was done and it was handing over to Buhari in 2015, the foreign reserve was down by about $1 billion in 6 years, which means they were taking they were putting money back, not like Yar'Adua that just took everything and nobody was asking, where is the money? Sure you get, it was just gone. So it means even though Nigeria made so much more money from crude oil under Jonathan than any government in Nigeria history, even up to now. That's a fact, by the way. So Nigeria didn't save more money, right? Rather, Nigeria spent them on things that you can barely say, where are they? Anyway, when Jonathan was leaving, he handed over to Buhari the foreign reserve of about 31, 32 billion dollars. The excess crude account, there's a story behind that one. From $18 billion, the excess crude account, by the time Jonathan was leaving, we only had $7.5 billion in the account. But there is a story behind that one. At least we have a story. The others, I have no idea what happened. The money being kept in excess crude account is not federal government's money. It doesn't belong to federal. It belongs to the entire Nigeria. Because it's the money from the sale of crude oil money. Sure, you get. When they want to sell, let's say they budget and believe that a barrel of crude oil will be sold for $50. And then this year, suddenly, the barrel of crude oil is being sold for $115. That's an excess of $100. Usually in Nigeria, they just share the entire money. So Obasanjo now said, no, we won't share all the money. The excess will be saved. That's what created the excess crude account. So when Yar'Adua died and Jonathan became president, 18-point-something billion was in that account. But by the time Jonathan was going and handing over to Buhari, $7.5 billion was the balance in that account, because the APC or ACN governors, including PDP governors, who are state governors, they heard the rumor that Jonathan has been borrowing money to pay salaries. And it is so bad that they are hiding it from Nigerians, that Jonathan is now dipping his hands inside the excess crude account money without telling the rest of the states. As a federal, he's been dipping his hand in that account, and they have been spending money from it. So they took him to court. The state took Jonathan to court. And their request and demand was that the court should tell Jonathan to share every penny in that account, because Jonathan can't just continue spending it. The federal government. So when it was almost over, and they have names, Rotif Miamechi, Fashola, Oshiomole, and a few others. Anyway, I remember those three. When it was at the verge of being like they will defeat Jonathan, they will share the money, Jonathan now called for out-of-court settlement. And he said, please, don't let us share all the money. Let's share some of it and keep some. So in a space of 6 years, Jonathan and the rest of them and this state, they were able to take or share over $11 billion from that excess crude account. They didn't save a penny into that account. So they gave it to Joe Buhari, $7.5 billion balance. Now fast forward to 2023. Do you know that the balance in that account now is not up to $1 million? Yes, you heard me right. Yeah, you heard me right. $1 million. Like, it's not even up to that. It is 464,000 US dollars. For the whole Nigeria. Excess crude account too. This time around, Buhari didn't share it with any state, with any state. Which states? And they dare not even ask him what happened to that money right now. $7.5 billion. Sweep off. Yes, you heard me right. How could they even save from excess crude account when the whole oil is being stolen every now and then, free of charge? Which crude account are they going to save in? So when Tinubu, now, let me give you another number. In 2015, from record, you see, if you are an economist, I don't know, is it called economist? Human resource, if you are doing something about human resources and all that, you will know that there are categories of jobs and joblessness, employed, unemployed. In the middle, you have underemployed. So in Nigeria, in 2015, people will get job, screaming change. Some of them were like, they were using their salaries of the work they had then in 2015 to campaign for change so that they can get better lives. The unemployment in Nigeria was put then at 13%. 13. Today, unemployment in Nigeria is now being put at 63% unofficially. Officially, they are dancing around 43%. But about 43%, we are not talking about just 43. We are talking about millions of people. No wonder. In 2015, right, before they devalue your naira to what it is right now, before they ruined everything that could have actually given you standard lives, before all of this, they said 86 million of you were living in abject, that was the word at the time, abject poverty. 8 years after change, more of you have become jobless. More of you have run away from Nigeria, living your supposed comfortable life because you have seen what happened around you, and you know that if you don't take an action soon, you are going to become what came of your friends who lost everything in this APC nonsense. Lost your job, lost your favorite contract, lost all your gig because the companies that are giving them to you, 4 million companies left Nigeria in 8 years. 4 million businesses. He either died or left Nigeria. I mean, you would expect that, okay, but another 6 million joined. They lied to yourself. 43% unemployment. Even Kolu reacted it when it was at 33%. Let me show you, in case if you have forgotten.
And we are competing with armed robbers and the bandits to recruit from the youths who are unemployed. 33% unemployed. Recruit 50 million youths into the army and take away from their recruitment source. What they will eat? Cassava, àgbàdo, corn.
Oṣó ni, àjẹ́ ni, ẹlẹ́bọlóògùn ni, amániṣe ni, afàìmọ́niṣe ni, wọ́n á fi yín sílẹ̀. Oṣó ni.
You get that? So they are not using abject poverty anymore. They are using multi-dimensional poverty, where you have over 140 million Nigerians now living in multi-dimensional poverty. So that's the record of Buhari. That's Buhari. So this is what we're going to do the comparison now. Okay, leaving out all the details I've given you earlier. Let's play scenarios now. Okay, Yaradua, full step, failure. Tinubu, who wants to follow either Buhari or Yar'Adua, disaster in the waiting. Somebody say, congratulations to our incoming president. Baba, I don't know how old you are. Look at me very well. See, look at my face. You are not doing anybody. See, all that happened during Buhari's time, there are so many of you that didn't see that happening. Abi? The way Nigeria turned, or what Nigeria has turned to right now. It is so bad that so many of you, in that your weak, tired voices, where you think you are showing solidarity, and you are like taunting other people. The failure of Buhari, especially those of you who are Yorubas from southwest Nigeria. Congratulations, our incoming president. Listen to me very well. In that your weak, low voice, no motivation, no nothing. It is the failure of Buhari that is making some of you to feel like just maybe God will answer your prayer and put smile on your face genuinely and change your life through Tinubu. You know what you are doing? It's called gambling with your life. Baba, honestly speaking, if to say the consequences is going to be limited to you alone, in Ijebu, there's a saying, atikalare parare, enejonu, koniyon parare, tikalarare, enejonu. It's something like when somebody decide to kill themselves in Ijebu, no case in it. But when it comes to political decisions and all of that, you just need to know the consequences of what you are getting yourselves into. 8 years ago, just before they swear for Buhari, a lot of you were full of hope. You were full of expectations. You were bragging. You were everywhere. It didn't take long before your fake, bogus patriotism started fading off. This is not going to be any different. So enjoy it while it lasts. Some of you didn't survive it. Here you get. You that survived Buhari is good. Gamble. You've done it. Nobody's going to change that for Nabi. All the best for you. So let's now play scenarios, like I said. And if you're just joining us, you can still very much make your presence known, like the broadcast. Somebody said that, no, I was reading something somewhere, right? And they said, Mr. Beast, there is this very popular, give me a sec. Let me fix this and I'll be back, okay? Don't go anywhere.
70 years old man.
Jesus is Lord. Jesus.
70 years old man.
Jesus is Lord.
Thank you. So make your presence known, which is like the broadcast. Share it. It works better that way. I wanted to tell you a story, but don't worry, you don't need that. With that interruption, there's no point. So let's play out scenarios here when we want to compare Yar'Adua and his footstep and what happened to Yar'Adua and what happened after, what led Nigeria to where we are today. Even if Kolu is using that comparative overview, right? Again, these are just scenarios, all right? And I hope that a lot of you can take time to just listen to these scenarios too, all right? We'll put the failures on the side. Yar'Adua was in and out of hospital for for skin cancer. It was too late for people to realize that their president was actually suffering from skin cancer. And with all effort, they said he's been suffering for it for years, even as a governor. So when he became president of Nigeria, they decided to introduce him to more advanced kind of, medical personnel abroad. So Yar'Adua, why Yar'Adua was sick or always out of Nigeria, even when he was in Nigeria, where they would be like, he can't do anything because he's not feeling well. Kolu is not that sick. We don't have a sign that he's having cancer, except for the one that we saw a syringe under his arm, which people said, nah, something to heart and all that, whatever. But what happened then was that Nigeria was being ruled by people we now refer to as Cabals, and his wife was one of them. So Turai says something today about Tinubu following the footstep of her husband. So what Turai now said was, Remy, you are going to be the target. If your husband follow my late husband's footstep, right? You will be the target. There's nothing significant done by Yar'Adua that made Turai a target other than when Yar'Adua was sick and they were hiding it from Nigerians. And people said it was Turai. It was Turai. It was Turai that is madam. This was 15 years ago or something. And that was how she came into the picture. That was when people started saying that she's so powerful, she's this and that, she's that. So if Turai is telling Remy that your husband following my late husband's footstep will make you a target, does that then mean a husband who was very sickly, when Tinubu's aging, sickness start manifesting or get out of hand, that they couldn't really manage it anymore, because it would have to be always in the face of Nigerians, when they swear, when they swear for him on the 29th of May. So with the pressure of taking him away like they normally do, would that not then bounce on Remy as being the one to hide everything from the people, being the head of the new Cabal? Was Turai Yar'Adua telling Remy that if the thing can't choke your husband, that you have to keep him private, away from the rest of Nigeria? This role, if you find yourself there, you are going to be a target. And according to her, it wasn't pleasant at all. She was battling with making her husband feel better. She was trying to make her, as a wife, as a mother, right? Trying to get her husband well. Yet, the rest of Nigeria, they are seeing her as hiding him away from them. Oh, she's this or that. So it's a mixed thing, which is actually, this is me being fair now, okay? The wife of the president is also human. The president himself is human. Any of us can fall so sick, and we need care and love. Sometimes you have to take your loved one away from the prying eyes of the public. But you can't take a president of a country away if you are not hiding something. The country should know what is wrong with him, not in Nigeria anyway. So Turai Yaradua said to Remy, my husband wasn't ambitious about power. He didn't want to be president. They forced him to be president. He loved being a teacher. He loved going to teach and coming back home to come and tell us stories after eating his dinner. He didn't want to be president. He wasn't power hungry. But you guys have actually stolen it now, and you've grabbed it. You have run with it. But there will be consequences. With what we know about your husband, Remy, you might need to brace up, because you're going to find yourself in my position. Now, going further, playing scenario. Shitima is ambitious. You can tell. The Boko Haram sympathizer, who is your vice president select. There are impressions in some quarters that if anything happened to Tinubu, like what happened to Yaradua, that Jonathan became your president, and it got so many people in northern Nigeria so angry that they felt like they got cheated. It was their turn. It's our turn. Why would you force a sick man on us for our turn? Did you know that Yaradua was going to die? Is that your plot to keep the power in southern Nigeria? That was the genesis of the hatred you are seeing today in Nigerian politics. Their politics that is so divisive, that is like they want to kill themselves every now and then. If you see Nigerians, when they go after themselves, obedient versus the Agbadoma versus the Mechanite. When they start, the northerners versus southerners, Christians versus Muslim, and the rest of every other thing that people, do you think they want to kill themselves? It all started from 2010. When Goodluck Jonathan said he wanted to contest to be president, and they told him, no, you can't. That was the genesis. So, are you prepared for President Kashim Shettima? All of you are telling me right now. I'm just saying, we are using scenario of, well, do you want me to tell you something, right? In my book, evil people don't, they don't die easily. Do you get that? And that's why somebody like me don't kind of believe in curses, believe in karma, believe in, some prayers too. They are just your wishes. Okay? They are wishes. And if wishes were horses, they say beggars will ride. So I don't kind of believe them. And that is why sometimes I feel like in our state of anger and rage or disagreement, we tend to project the sort of a sociopathic side of us. When you kind of feel like, Now, you see, I mean, you see, to show to you that I'm serving a living God, you will die in 7 days. This guy, this guy is supposed just, I wish this guy just jam a car, kill him. This is you projecting your own little or bigger sociopathic side of you, and it's wrong. It's very, very bad. Some people say them when they don't mean them. But when you see people who say them and mean them, but they just don't have the stamina to carry them out, sociopath. Horrible people know they die like that too. Okay? And to some of you who are thinking, maybe Tinubu will die. Abi? So that Shetima, and I'm saying this because I have actually seen people who believed that. There are people in APC, yeah? And Shebi Tinubu know well. If he dies soon, power will return to us. In 2015, nobody knew that Buhari had any sickness or anything so serious, nothing. Until 2016, when you know what happened now. I know those who are the same member of the same political party, APCO, that are waiting. If we are here talking about, oh, is Buhari dead? They will be here. They want to hear confirmation if Buhari is dead, because once Buhari is dead, a Yoruba man will become president. They are the same party, the same people in the same political party. Oh. That's how horrible they are in Nigeria. Are you with me? So Buhari didn't die. So since Buhari no die, Osinbajo couldn't become president. So Osinbajo couldn't become president, well, their prayers and wish and hope didn't come to pass. That's sad. That's very bad that God didn't kill him. So that you know what I mean? I witnessed it. I saw that. People of the same political party. You see, you feel say, Buhari should die, Buhari should this and that. Fine, you're angry. Okay, fine. What about people in the same political party? Buhari is their president too. Sure you get. But within them, it is the same psycho madness that actually keep them together, and that's one reason why you can't have a better working country with those people. So now the table don't turn. Natifnubu de dakudaji. Natifnubu now they are like, if anything happened to Tifnubu, power will just go back to the north. Guess those who are also praying for that, member of the same political party, APC. In fact, there were some of them that, see, I have this, it's everywhere. I have this information that if you want to see them, they are everywhere. Don't pretend that you're not seeing them, except if you're not looking. They were telling themselves in northern Nigeria, this Tinubu, if he die anytime, if Tinubu die now Shetima go be the president, power is back to the north, and Shetima go do 8 years. But if you are banking on that, it's just like you gambling on make what do you call it? Make APC change Nigeria so that you can come around and tell people who didn't believe in them and say, Shoton, look at us now. We know, we know that's not going to happen. It's not because you have any control or anything, okay? I'm just saying. So sometimes, Moku, they tone them down in public when we want to put our conspiracy together, because sometimes all these conspiracy things, right? Theories, not because they are completely wrong, but most of the time, they are projection of, what you want to see happen that you have no control over. Since you have no control over it, you don't have any control over who is going to die tomorrow, who is going to die this evening, or even if yourself, if you're not going to die tomorrow as well. So I would advise that limit the conversation around what's practically, possible. Again, I'm not saying you shouldn't believe what you want to believe, because the way we attention day everywhere right now, you're just going to be like, are you with us? Are you against us? You let him die. I say, okay, yeah, let's let them die. But it is a wish. Are you with me? But let's now say, what happened to Yaradua? Happened. You watching me right now. Yeah, you Lagos Abobaku. I'm not fighting you. I'm just asking you a direct question now. How are you going to take it? That the table will turn, or no, the table has turned now. Okay? That the shitty man and the rest of them are also waiting. There are people who believe that they are just waiting. So that to what? To take that power. How I mean, are you by any chance, have you ever thought about what if something happened? Yar'Adua footstep. And Wala con dig, and Shetima is now your president of Nigeria. How are you gonna feel? What are you gonna do? Okay, it's all right. I can't hear you. So I'll just read the comment and then I'll keep the answer. Because there are people who are kind of secretly too, openly, right? That should happen. So if Kolu woke up and said, I will follow Yaradua footstep, Baba, you won't buy any. Somebody went under the post and said, Amen. When is going to be the burial date? I said, Nigeria, can't you guys just kind of I say, well, when you calm down, am I the one who said I want to follow Yaradua footstep? Tinubu said he's going to follow Yaradua footstep, and I'm just saying that when it's going to be the burial. I said, no, come on. Anyway, whatever it is that you probably know or you don't about Yaradua, I have added my own little piece. Okay. Meanwhile, did you know that tomorrow they're going to start their tribunal pre-trial, or should I say pre-trial hearing or something, pre-hearing or something? Yeah, they're going to open their tribunal tomorrow. And that starts, the whole drama starts tomorrow. I want to say something to some of you. I know you have your theory, which is great. But sometimes any theory consummated when we are emotionally drained, emotionally stressed, something like this that you are witnessing in Nigeria today, so many of you, no matter how old you are, you have never been this, you have never been this involved in the political activities in Nigeria like you just did. Yeah? And it's so shocking to some of you that people could actually rig you this way. Some of you are still expressing shock. I understand, you see? But I warned before then, sure you get, I told you that sometimes it sounds foolish not to participate in an already rigged election. They've rigged it before they conducted it. They have rigged the whole thing up to the Supreme Court that you are talking about today. And I did say at the time that you can't trust corrupt people in a corrupt system conducting a free, fair election. Is rigged. And I explained how they are rigging your election even before the election day. Maybe this information are no longer useful. I agree. But you see the one I'm about to tell you right now, which I'm going to continue to tell you. It's not to discourage you, okay? But the fact that maybe this is your first experience for real, because that's the only reason why you, or some of you can be saying some things you are saying right now about Nigeria, and you'll be wondering, why are they not happening like you expected? They're not going to happen that way, because you have no idea fully. You are just getting an idea, having an idea of what you are up against, which is not bad. I've said it before. Experience, they say, is the best teacher. You need that experience to understand why people like us have now arrived at a stage where we believe that election is a waste of time. Participating in it is validating the crime. So we'd rather stay away. You see, sounds foolish. How could you stay away? They will be choosing themselves. No. When people stay away en masse enough, the people who stayed away, there's also a vote. The day they are going to actually shut the criminals down, it's going to be a total shutdown. But it's a theory that people haven't tried. So sounds foolish not to participate. How can you say people shouldn't participate in election? How can you say election is this and that? We need to, okay. But then I was saying, you're going to be rigged. You're going to be rigged so bad that you're going to be so angry. You're going to be so angry that you'll be like, this is impossible. Yes, I did say that. But somehow, some people kind of manage their expectation about the election. They are not totally disappointed. Sure, you get, they are disappointed, but they are not totally. Because somehow I have made them realize that it is going to be effort in futility. Yes, you mean well, but it's not going to happen. maybe I didn't do all the explanation better at that time, or whether I did or not, it's not going to really make any difference. But you see this one, their court is going to open tomorrow. I have been seeing some of you. Our judiciary will have to save us. Are you actually joking? Do you think I'm just being pessimistic? You're optimistic, right? You believe in judiciary. Maybe so now they talk say you believe in INEC. Maybe so all of them they do program everywhere on TV, everywhere they tell yourselves that INEC cannot rig. Now you are witnessing the worst of the worst of the worst election ever. And you are still there like, no, this is impossible. This is not happening. This is So I'll keep reminding you, it is not to discourage you, okay? You and I have no control over what I'm talking about now. The only thing we have control over is our emotion. The only thing you have control over is your mental health. And the only way you can control them, both emotion and your mental health, is how you undo the truth. Obi is not going to get any judgment in courts. I'm sorry if that is so blunt, all right? But again, wait for it to play out. It's not getting anything from anywhere. There's no mandate coming from anywhere from them. The whole evidence of rigging and everything is out there. Everybody sees it. But you are dealing with a place whereby every reasonable thing becomes unreasonable, and every unreasonable thing becomes reasonable. And it's like an asylum. It's like a jungle. So where are you getting this idea from? That the judiciary will shake in a country, Which judiciary? Which of them? Anyway, again, I remember asking this question the last time. I said, what do you go do if they rig you out? I'm talking about when the tension was high, where everybody say, Baba, you go see film. You go see what thing we go show them. You go see what thing go happen. Okay. He did that. I said, when they rig you out, what thing you go do? What are you going to do? Because they're going to do it. They will do it so brazenly, so shamelessly, that you are going to get angry. You are meant to get angry. So what are you going to do? Not many gave me answer. In fact, there was no answer. They said, Mayegun, wait and see. And here we are, believing in the judiciary that is going to stand up and say, truly, the election was rigged, and Kolu must be told to, should be told to return the return certificate. It's good to be optimistic that way. It hasn't happened. So that's why I'm not going to say, don't take all my word for it. But because from experience, which is that of Nigeria, you begin to connect the dots. Who are the judges? Who are those where they are working for? What are their antecedents? Are you with me? What are the participants, so to say? What are they doing? What are they saying? Are they actually doing exactly what the courts told them to do? Well, so far, so good. INEC, that is at the center of it, is defending Kolu and is denying the Obi and his team, and then others, they are denying them access to all the materials they used in the election. So, which means they will sabotage them, modulate up, or you don't have to believe me, okay? See, if somebody asks me, how you do this thing? How you do this thing every day with different people coming for you and all? I said, no. That's what makes this very interesting. Before the election, when I was saying it then, that you were preparing for elections, Abi, they were preparing for war. And the war is that beyond election. Because the real war is after what happened, or they say after the election. That's what we determine what will happen to Nigeria after. Are you prepared? I remember asking that time. So you might say the same thing to me right now. I'm fine. I'm used to it. Tomorrow, they will open the door of their tribunal. I am going to be one of your plug. They will be bringing the reports of who say what, who said what, and what are they saying. I will be one of the people who will bring them to you. Because at the end of the day, you are going to add it to your lesson of life. Then I'm asking you again. When they are caught finally by 2024, that is when the court will rule. Yes. They're not going to do any before inauguration court or anything. They're going to swear in Kolu. on the May 29. Okay? I don't know how difficult that is for you to actually take in, but it is true. In Nigeria, they rig election first. Okay? Everything else follows. In Nigeria, whether you rig, whether you won, on the May 29, they will swear in new government in Nigeria. I have seen that. Except as a coup. Anyway, they were going to swear in Tinubu. That people are telling you that because he didn't score 25% in Abuja, or he didn't score this or that here and there, they are the evidence. But we are talking about Nigeria. What happened is, he's been declared Abi. They will swear him in. Just like so many of the governors and the rest of those who are also holding positions in Nigeria, they won't say, oh, they won't swear you in, oh, because you have a case in court. Don't let any influencer mess up with your head, okay? And you don't have to believe me, because it seems like it's a crazy word now, isn't it? If anybody is telling you anything otherwise than this, they just want to keep you glued, and it's not going to help you. So when that finally happened, they're going to create another story, but it is expected to. The problem is if he wasn't declared at all, that's fair, right? But they will swear him in, like they swore Jonathan in when Buhari was challenging him, like they swore Buhari in when Atiku was challenging him. Yeah, you are banking on the court to say he's not president. Their door will open tomorrow, and you will learn more about why Nigeria doesn't fit any logical reasoning that gave you that idea. Okay? It will be there, and they will continue to go to their court. Is Nigeria, not because they can't really resolve the whole thing within 2 weeks, but they won't. Are you with me? They won't. So practically, the moment the INEC gave you that certificate, now only court can take it back from you. They will swear you in. You will be signing check as president, as governor, as everything. Yeah, they will do it. So if somebody is telling you that they won't, enjoy it while it lasts, but it's not going to help you. Okay? So at the end of the day, from tomorrow, the materials will be arriving. The content will be arriving. And yes, a lot of you will be following, including myself. So today, I have decided to kind of bring to you what it means to follow Yaradua footstep. And hopefully, I have also managed to reconfigure the Stockholm syndrome that many are suffering when your past criminal leaders, dead or alive, are always better than the ones that is in charge. And just like as if to say God doesn't like you or doesn't like Nigerians. They told us that it is God that make leaders. Then we say, wait till we do God. That Nigeria has never had it anything like a nice or good at all. So if the footstep of Buhari is no longer useful, and at the footstep of Yar'Adua, then Buhari can get ready to be the first victim. Not Buhari directly. You know, the way they do them, they go after people around them. Majority of those who are there today, 8 years ago, they were your superstars. Congratulations, you made it. You made it to Buhari's integrity government. You remember 8 years ago? Congratulations, sir. I know you will make a difference. Thank you, sir. This is the change we voted for. You are in that season again. You'll be hearing names. They'll be sounding buzzing. Hey, I like that one. Hey, I like this one. You are continue to deceive yourselves. You can tell what the end is going to be from the beginning. But lots love to live in denial of it. So those who they gave job that time, they don't look for job again. No. I was on Twitter this morning. Then it was last night, I didn't pay much attention, but this morning, I saw where they are explaining to themselves that, why would all of us that suffered, we suffered for this party, we suffered for Ashiwaju, now you are nominating people for Kiniko concert, you are bringing our enemy. Guess who are their enemies? Those ones who worked for Osinbajo. They are in the same party. Those who work for Osinbajo, somehow, who were against Tinubu, they are now getting appointments inside Tinubu's concert that she is organizing. And they are promising them, we are going to give so many of you appointments that you are going to go for international training, international seminars, international this and that. So they are writing names. So they are complaining. There are people who no support if Tinubu are getting job. Hey, all of us will suffer. We have suffered for 8 years. How could you suffer 8 years? You are APC. You are in government. But it's true. They suffered and they are still suffering. And they will continue to, unfortunately. So they now told them, they say, okay, may everybody calm down. They don't remove them. We have removed them. We have removed them. They are not part of us anymore. Okay, sorry, all of you. Thank you, my leader. They started begging. Please pick me. Please pick me. Please, so I have suffered there as I am right now. I no get job. I need to be given an appointment. On Twitter, they are there right now. But the bottom line is this. 8 years ago, those ones who are now who are going to be looking for a job, who are defending Buhari and the rest, right? They are now looking for a job, looking for lobbying, this and that. Whether they get them or they don't get them, they are coming back to all of us. I always tell people, that's the only karma I remember. Any other karma, they work for me like that. That's the real one. You see, Femi Oponu Adesina and the rest of them. All of those ones where they work with Pastor Ruga and the rest, you will begin to see some of them now. They will now be outspoken critics. And they will be the first that Tinubu will go for. Hello. Your predecessor is always the easy one to go for if you really, really want to be in charge. Learn from Yar'Adua. Buhari go Yaram. Majority of you right now that are here with, thank you, Mr. President, thank you, Mr. Buhari, every now and then, you are counting the days. You ain't go collect soon. All those things you've always wanted to say. But because you are APC, Egbekegbe with Abusi, you are keeping them to yourself. In another few days, you go soon the fire. So, I don't know Yar'Adua way, or Buhari way. If you go Yar'Adua way, can't enter Buhari way, Buhari go see him, he go Yaram. Everything, all this appointments of Fulani this, Awusa that, Fulani this, Awusa that in Buhari's government, that one will begin to change to should be a Fulanization. You dey hear for the past 8 years. All of you, Yoruba, whether you support Tinubu or not, you better get yourself ready for Yorubanization. Because you see those ones who are like the vuvu sellers, the crumb eaters, the crumb chasers, the ass lickers, they are going to remain same. It's not going to change. 8 years. Many of them are on this street. I know them very well. On this my Zukavai street, on this Mayegun street here, on this. We see them all the time. They have been screaming, remember us, we are suffering for this party. Our leader, our this and that. But if you say Buhari na thief, your papa na thief. This Buhari na mumu, your papa na mumu. How can you say the president is mumu? Don't you have a father at home? I say, see, look at this Oniya. You were just a complaint moment ago. Please help me. I have something. I need help. This government is this and that. They're not. Buhari na mumu. Your papa na mumu. For 8 years, so now what you do for social media? Be that too. I am ready today. Some will be like, they will grab. They will be, they will be on social media, and they will be like, I am ready for anybody that is coming for Asiwaju today. Now me and them today on this social media. Baba Kilode. Because I will never let anybody spoil the name of Asiwaju. I will never let anybody spoil the name of Buhari. Buhari is Auntie Kilode. Ade Buhari. There's one woman called Ade Buhari. All of you say, Mama Kilode ma parayiba itori Olorun. Now that is switch 8 years. 8 years since I know that woman. I saw she they look. Majority of them. They call them influencers as well. Since the way I saw many of them 8 years ago, that's what they had. Some of them even look worse now. I'm not joking. I'm not mocking. I'm saying you can join them too. Join them, yeah? Because the real thing is that the Yorubanization is going to be for those who are in their category. All of una. Now the same crumb, then go see they send you. So you can get video, you can get picture to post on social media. So they'll be like this. ladies and gentlemen, see, Ashiwaju, we are here in blah 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 blah. So Ashiwaju is here. See Ashiwaju at my back. Ashiwaju is coming to, you know, that kind of thing, eh? Say, yeah. Mayegun, you don't make him. Yeah, I don't become superstar with that. My leader. Say, is that Ashiwaju on your mandate? My leader, please help me in your inbox, because I recorded Ashiwaju or Buhari. Say, my leader, please, I need job, My leader, please, help me, My leader, make us send my CV. Your leader will say na hustler. Your leader on social media. So the real appointment goes to their friends who are not in any way interested in all the shenanigans you put yourself, because you would remain the foot soldiers. And the real job goes to the Yorubas. So you're going to get Yorubanization. Unfortunately, when you say Fulanization, have you actually met an average Fulani man in Nigeria? Because when you say Fulani, now cow, and the Warakashi and what have you, you know, that's what many of you know about Fulani. No. When you meet the average Fulani like yourself, like you are, an average Yoruba, everybody, you know, like doing your thing. And then you can hold them and say, I might be like, say, you are better than me. This Fulanization is working for Fulani people. Look at me, Yoruba, see me. See the difference. There is nothing like that in Nigeria. You know, say you are lying to yourself, Sabi. The Fulanization is just the idea of seizing people's land and making some ethnic nationality, making Fulani ethnic nationality feel superior, when in actual fact, it doesn't benefit anybody except their elite. So when you hear Yorubanization, that's what you are going into. You see all those Hausa Fulani that are parading themselves in Abuja, secretariat everywhere, they go sweep them out. It go be like movie. They go sweep them out, replace them with their own Yoruba brothers, and then even Igbo brothers. You go see, say Igbos go get appointment for Buhari hand. For Tinubu hand. When they begin to do their recruitment jobs and all those secret ones that they are giving to their sons and daughters in northern Nigeria, they will still give them all. But this time around, the number go be like Yoruba high, the northerners next. I'm not kidding. You go see. There's nothing like continuation anywhere. I go continue in your footprint. I go continue in that one. Na bobo. In Nigeria, there is no continuity, even if you are from the same political party. Here you get. But now that shake the part me, I won't see. All of you where they expect say Tinubu is coming to come and give you credit and loan. You know, they are selling you bobo. You they drink cold. You they drink sobo. Are they here? So don't ever look at me and say, you this Mayegun, you will see what I said the same thing. Your mothers and your fathers, your uncles and aunties, even the ones abroad, they told me the same thing. That God, we will see what will happen in Nigeria. We will see when APC will change Nigeria. You this Mayegun bad belly 8 years ago. Today, now Mediterranean with a big body, people where they run from Buhari. Those who are running into desert in Libya. Now for road, we they pick them, say no run, no go Libya. We they do campaign today, make people no run out of Nigeria. Say please, it's not safe. So that's the change your uncles and aunties did in 8 years. So Kileveshe, what do you want to do? Go be Babara for me? Just make them give you electricity. If they give you electricity, and you they get access to electricity 24/7, cool your head down. You go realize say you don't mad tete. Seriously. I mean, somebody said, Baba, how did we survive in Nigeria after leaving Nigeria? You know, this is my pal. He's in the US. Right? And he was like, Mayegun. Well, how did we survive Nigeria? That we grew up as we survived Nigeria till we left Nigeria. I said, Baba, if you de mad, you know they know. If you are living in a mad place, everything around you is on how to survive that madness from childhood to your age. Now, when you can't live that kind of life, you can't realize some more, Baba, I don't mad tete. That's how mad in you. How did I survive all of that? Things that we look back now. You look back now and say, how could people still be doing that? That's how. Are you from abroad? I said, yes, I live in Calgary, Canada, auntie. Ekiti Calgary. Ekolong baby. This is na Lagos. All these ones that you are acting like say you know waiting there. Yeah, no be Ekiti you left. No be from Ekiti you left for Canada. Police shoot Agbero because of 15 naira. You can't cry, auntie. See you shaking. Abroad let it well be. Eko long pe bi o. Meanwhile, before, whether police they slap person, they beat anybody up and down, you could just mind your business. Or you go stay there, they watch. Today you are in abroad. Oh, this is so barbaric. Oh my God, what is this? Oh my God. I have not felt myself since yesterday. When I saw what they did to that young woman, Deborah. They burn, I said, in Nigeria, they didn't burn people. They said, bring match, bring petrol. Before they even ask what he do. Back. I said, at least you go there. What did he do? What did he do? No, people know they ask. Hey, who get match? Who get petrol? Who get tire? Somebody don't run go bring tire. Another one don't go bring get petrol. Now there you go see smoker we get lighter. Now when they don't light them, they burn. I say, what did he do, Seth? So my brother, I don't know. Sorry, what did he do? If I say they talk, say, I don't know, brother. We don't burn one person. Then they will be going one by one. You won't see them again. The person will bring tire, the one that brought petrol, and the one that offered lighter, gone. And they will never feel any remorse. When they talk about this incident in their own circle, they talk like they are talking about just talking. May I tell you one story? May I tell you one story? One day, as I come down from Danfo for Ushodi, I just saw that this guy, they run. I don't know what he do. Baba, you know, say me, I just launch and bah. As the guy land, bah. Before you know it, somebody say, oh yeah, bring tire, bring anything. Baba, we burn the guy before I ask what he do. So what you call happen to? I say we burn the guy. I just come up for there. Bad guy. Nobody will feel like, oh my God. How did you do that? Why would you do that? That's so. Did you know what I mean? Nobody. They will say, bad boy. I'll tell you my own. My own may say, you know what? That's it. They've messed us up. Is this that bad? It is. But anyway, I have shared mine, and I wish I could listen to yours, but it doesn't. It's not late. I'm coming back. May I go freshen up. Right? When I freshen up, I'm going to come back later and we're going to talk about Wiki. You don't want to miss that. I won't give you much of the gist. It's still very much about APC and Wiki and what happened at the dinner banquet that they organized for Kolu. A lot of people are now laughing with Wiki that you go here and Wiki, you go here. You know what I mean? You don't want to miss that. So join me then. And I also have the report of, I've shared that the whole video on the platform. But now I'm going to let you see this first part of Ekwere Madu's conviction. And when it gets to a few minutes, I'm going to end it. But we're going to do the full time tonight. I will talk about it. Listen to a judge in the UK sentencing Ekwere Madu. That people actually wrote letters from Nigeria. A king in Enugu, a king from Enugu, wrote 53 pages goodwill letter to beg the UK court not to sentence Ekwere Madu and his wife. But this is the first part of that judgment. Enjoy. I'll see you tonight.
Donating a kidney. I reject the defense assertions that he consented in any meaningful sense. I am sure that he did not. There has been a substantial and long-term adverse impact on his daily life. He is scared to return to Nigeria because of the risk of retribution from those that are sympathetic to you. He lives a solitary existence and is separated from his life, his friends and his family as a direct result of this offence. This all amounts to Category 2 harm within the meaning of the Sentencing Council's guidelines. I do not accept the Crown's submission that the nature and extent of the harm justifies a movement to Category 1. But it does warrant an upwards adjustment within the category range. The fact that the transplant was not carried out merits a downwards adjustment, but the level of that adjustment is limited because, firstly, the gravamen of the offence is the agreement that you reached to exploit the donor. The offence was complete at that point. The offence focuses on the conduct of the offender rather than the harm that is caused to the victim. Secondly, you did not withdraw from the conspiracy. The only reason that the transplant did not take place was because the hospital refused to carry it out.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara yìí. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Mayegun dayari politico. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Nayibi #1. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀ oníkanṣá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o àyè.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
kì máa yí ṣeré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀ kì máa yí ṣeré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀ ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. èèpo ọ̀bọ̀lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.